The newest control deck is coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and instead of setting traps, it's setting pendulum monsters. So, Enneacraft is coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it works very differently from a lot of other trap-style, control-style decks within Yu-Gi-Oh! The main game plan is to actually set a whole bunch of pendulum monsters, and utilizing their effects face down to negate and interact with the opponent, right? So let's quickly go over them. All of the low-level monsters have similar effects, and all of the high-level monsters have similar effects. So all of the low-level monsters as pendulums have the ability to search out cards by revealing 3, and then your opponent adds 1, meaning that if you have a 3 of in your deck, you generally want to be able to effectively search that, right? On top of that, they also all have the effect where they can... all of the monsters here, all of the pendulum monsters, have the effects to reveal themselves and then set a monster, or special summon a monster from your hand. So, for example, you can reveal this guy, whose name I can't remember, or attempt to say. You can reveal it and then set a different one from your hand and then reveal the same one, because there's not a once per turn on that. So basically you just reveal it, set a guy, reveal it, set a different guy, reveal the same one, set a different guy, and then you set your entire hand. That's kind of the game plan there. Now, all of the level 1s also have additional effects tied to them. For example, when they are all flipped up, they all have effects, every single one of them. The level 1s give small disruptions, right? Banishing a random monster or random card from the hand, negating an effect monster, etc. However, none of them have the ability to flip themselves face up, but the big guys do. The big guys will all trigger if an effect is activated or a condition is met, right? So each one of them also has the effect in the pendulum zone, where if a monster is flipped face up, they place 1 EC counter, and these EC counters can be eaten by the field spell to burn the opponent. So that's kind of the idea behind that. You flip up a whole bunch, and you can potentially FTK your opponent, but you could also just use that as an alternate win condition. It's not too important, given the fact that all of the big guys are big. They're all 3,000 attack, so it's not exactly difficult to just attack over things, but that is something to keep in mind. You do have that alternate win con if your opponent's like sitting on something. Now, all of the big guys, as I previously mentioned, have effects where if the opponent meets a condition, they will flip up and activate their effects. So, for example, Pixia will flip up if your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card, and it will negate that effect. On top of that, it will also then banish a random card from the opponent's hand. Cool. We have the Whale, Mar, which has the ability to just, if your opponent does a thing on the field, you flip it up and negate it, and destroy the card. We have Lion, which has the ability to, when your opponent activates a card or effect, activates a card or effect in response to yours, you can flip it up and then bounce 3 cards, any 3 cards, just 3 cards, from the field to the hand. We have Tail, which has the ability to, when your opponent activates a card that would destroy a card, you can flip it up and then negate, Enneacraft monsters and Enneacraft spells can't be destroyed, so protecting your monsters. And then we have Spia, which has the ability to, when the opponent activates a Chain Link 3 or higher effect, you can flip it up and then negate the chain. So if, for example, your opponent is playing Draco Tail, which should be pretty prevalent in the next meta, you can flip it up, negate the whole chain, they're cut off of all of their Draco Tail effects. Cool. On top of that, they also have some nice spells as just additional recursion and flip effects. That's kind of the idea. Notably, you can also play something like Sol and Luna, which is pretty cool, because you just target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 monster you control, and then you can either flip them up or flip them face down. It's pretty cool. So there's cool text like that you can play in here. Obviously, it's also a fissure deck, so that's a nice boon as well. But I'm just going to show you real quick how the deck functions. Alright, so real quick, let me show you how this deck works. So, we do have the ability to grab the field spell here, which is pretty important because it just says, during the end phase, you can remove all the EC counters and make the opponent take damage. And then on top of that, you can also target any number of Enneacraft pendulum monsters or monster cards you control, which is important, and bounce them to the hand. So let me show you what this means. So we're going to activate the level 1 here. We're going to activate its effect. We're going to reveal a whole bunch of cards here. Let's reveal the tail, which is the card destruction protection. So we're going to add that guy to our hand, and now we can activate the effect and just bounce it back to the hand. So now we can actually activate the effect here and just reveal that same card. Cool. They know basically nothing. We're going to set this one. Awesome. We're going to do that same thing again. We're going to set this one. Awesome. Now that one's set. Now we have 2 set cards. Cool. Whoa. What's going on there? We're going to activate this. We're going to set the more. We're going to put it face down. Cool. We're going to activate it again. Just over and over and over and over again. And now we have the destruction protection with the tail, and we have the monster the negation of the card on field there. And then we also have the ability to potentially banish a couple of cards from our opponent. We can even activate this guy, which also would then set itself there. So, boom. Set 5 pass, except for the fact that they're all monsters that also have effects. So that's kind of funny. That's generally the idea. And then, of course, if our opponent were to interact with us, if they were to attempt to destroy something, we could flip this face up. If they were attempting to just activate something in general, we could flip this up, right? So there's a bunch of stuff like that. Generally speaking, you want to find the high-level monsters and like 1 to 2 lower-level monsters so that you're able to utilize them. We could have also, of course, activated this guy as well, putting it in the other scale to search out another guy and then bounce the entire hand there, putting them both into hand, and kind of gone from there. But I just wanted to show you the gist of how the deck works. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a very simplistic deck, and it doesn't really even utilize the extra deck all that much, because for the most part, you just want these guys. They can also pretty much flip themselves face down pretty effectively, right? I mean, they also all have flip effects, right? So I didn't even mention this, but all of the high-level monsters, I believe, have effects when they're flipped face up, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. So there's a bunch of moving pieces there with regards to flipping cards face up. So again, lots of ways that you could utilize that, right? That's pretty much it. I mean, it's a pretty standard control deck. You are slowly, not slowly, but like you're trying to slow down the opponent and prevent them from, you know, nuking your board or interacting in unfavorably with you, right? And that's kind of the idea. Just slowing them down as you accrue resources very efficiently. That's it. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.